The Power of Four is the first book in the Legacy of the Goddess series. It is a tale of fantasy, magic, and adventure, set in ancient Egypt in the mythical village of Neten on the banks of the great sacred river. Chapter 6 Spring Equinox. Just before dawn, it was cool and dark in the bakery. Arya kneaded the dough and fired up the clay oven. She and her mother were making chakris. These were small rolls of pastry that were stuffed with date paste and nuts. These were sprinkled with sesame seeds on the top and baked. Each section looked like a small wheel. Each wheel represented time. They were offered to the sun god at dawn and then distributed among people. They were believed to have healing properties imbued with the power of the solar deity. On full moon nights, they sold steamed buns, which were a favorite among women customers. They offered it to the moon goddess, who blessed their families with abundance and happiness. These sweets were made on special days like equinoxes, solstices, full moon nights, and nights of the new moon. Arya's specialty was a type of sweet bread stuffed with date paste, nuts, and of course sprinkled with rose water, her favorite essence. She used special molds for these breads, which looked very unusual. Some were square, some hexagonal, conical, and even decahedral in shape. These sweets were difficult to find and highly sought after by the priests for their rituals in the temples. People who practiced these rituals often asked Arya to add various flavors according to the season, special colors, and even herbs. Friends and family members were filling in fast in their house that day. It was the day before the spring equinox, the beginning of spring, and they all were gathered at Arya's house to celebrate the spring equinox. There was much singing, laughter, and cooking. Arya was happy. She missed her husband sometimes, but with so much to do, she waved the thought aside. Lately, she had noticed her son had started to look more and more like his father. The spring festival was celebrated with great enthusiasm in Neten. Arya's house was filled with the smell of rose and bread. Ezra was kept busy as usual, filling up small baskets with sweetbreads to be sold to customers. But however much Arya made, they were never enough. Sometimes she even asked Ezra to deliver them at friends' houses or her own relatives before they were sold out. Ezra's grandmother loved these events. She loved to talk to people who had gathered in the house, and Ezra could hear her saying, "The magicians believe that if they created a sacred space in the outer world, the magic would transform their inner world in the same way." She used to tell me this when I was younger, thought Ezra. He often felt that his grandmother and mother practiced magic and had begged them to teach him. But they would smile and laugh at some silly private joke which they found very funny, and it would annoy Ezra. He was determined to learn the secrets about these mysterious rituals, but he had to wait and bide his time. Ezra often wondered about his parents, who his father was, what did he do, why had he left when he was very young, but he never asked his mother. Often she was busy. There were always people around her, and she had little time to talk to Ezra. And when she did talk, she told him about the nature and shape of things, the moisture and dryness of objects, the four elements, how they corresponded to the four directions, and how the human body is our secret temple. Some of it Ezra understood, and rest of it was difficult for him to understand. If Ezra tried to talk about their family, his mother always smiled and said, "You will know when it is time. But for now it is important to be familiar with what I am trying to teach you. It will impact your future one day." He had not heard the voice in a while, and he was startled when he heard the voice asking him if he was ready with the petition for the spring equinox. "What is the spring equinox?" asked Ezra. And what is a petition? You should know, dear one, your mother celebrates equinox festivals lavishly. The priests of the temple come for the special sweets that are sold in the bakery. It is a day of initiation in your house. Didn't anyone tell you about the spring equinox festival? What is it, Ezra? Arya asked, seeing him stand in the doorway to the kitchen. Can I help you with anything? Asked Ezra. It was the safest thing to ask his busy mother, rather than ask about the equinox festival. Arya, when will you send the big order? Have you packed it? Asked her mother, who was helping her to make the sweets. She had received a rather large order and assumed it was someone who was a priest or a wizard, guessing from the sacred nature of the ingredients ordered for making the sweets. Here, Ezra, take this basket to this address and deliver these sweets, said his mother, giving him the name of the house. Ezra picked up the basket. It was heavy. As he reached the house, he noticed a beautifully painted ankh on the door of a large house. This is the house of a powerful magician. Be careful, dear one, said the voice softly. A girl opened the door. Her face was covered with her head scarf. She took the heavy basket as if it was nothing. Thank you, said the girl. She looked familiar. Ezra was about to go when a man appeared. Please give this to your mother and convey her my regards. He handed Ezra a small pouch full of coins. Ezra left. He was in a hurry. The festivities and rituals would soon begin. He had no time to lose. Inside the big house, the magician inspected the contents of the basket. It held everything he had asked for. The Maga knew her work well. Arya was a mystery to him, a proud woman who lived her life according to her own terms. It was rumored she was a high priestess to the goddess with magical powers. He had asked about the family, but his informant said she was never seen in any of the community events honoring the goddess or even visiting a temple. No one had seen her husband. The family usually kept to themselves. They were surrounded by a protective circle of close family, friends, and students who were taught by Arya. They had enough to live on, and Ezra's uncle was an influential man, so no one interfered. He felt he needed more information, but for the time it would have to do. There was much work to do, and he did not have much help. He called the girl and told her, "You have done well. Gain his trust. Keep an eye on him." The girl nodded her head. Her father was not a man to be trifled with. She liked Ezra and would never think of harming him. She was not sure of her father, though. The day of the spring equinox had arrived. Ezra wanted to know more about the equinox and how the rituals were conducted from his mother, but she surprised him instead. She gave him the best news he could hope to hear. "What makes equinoxes so important, Ma?" asked Ezra. Arya replied. She knew that Ezra did not know much about the spring ritual and its significance. The spring equinox heralds new life, renewal, restoration, and rejuvenation of that which is dead. On the day of the equinox, the day and the night are balanced. Light and darkness are in harmony. A day of great power. Priests perform special ceremonies to invite the gods and goddesses into our lives. Our crops are ripe for harvest, a time for growth and renewal of life, when young men and women decide to start their journey of life and find their true purpose. Many of our students start their life as healers and magicians. "When do I start my journey of life?" asked Ezra dejectedly. He had seen the look of anticipation and excitement on the faces of the students who were with them, who would be initiated into the heritage of magic and rituals on the day of the spring equinox. "You will be initiated today," said Arya. "What? Initiated into what?" asked Ezra, not believing his ears. "What do you think, Ezra?" "To magic, of course," said his mother, her eyes shining with love and affection for her son. You will be united with the heritage that flows in your blood, the power that you have inherited, son. Are you sure, Ma? Asked Ezra. You're worthy and capable. Why wait any longer? Asked his mother lovingly. She knew Ezra had many questions for her, the chief among them being the whereabouts of his father. But she did not want to give him false hopes. You have to prepare your own petition. It is a prayer for admission into the heritage of magic to the divine, a prayer seeking blessings from those who have gone before you in this journey, said Arya. Ezra was very happy. Several people had come for the initiation ceremony, and he was going to be part of it as well. No more staying away and feeling the outsider. He was content that his mother trusted him. It made him feel worthy. He wanted to invite Shaila to be present for the ceremony. He went to her house and invited her. She was happy. She liked the curly-haired boy and wanted to be his friend. But he was always being called away to do some odd job for his uncle or his mother, much like herself. She had to work for both her aunt and her father as well, she thought, smiling at the similarity between them. Thank you for listening. This was a chapter from The Legacy of the Goddess, Power of Four. Tune in every Friday for a new chapter. You can also buy the whole book right now. Visit legacyofthegoddess.gumroad.com to buy The Power of Four in both written and audio format, as well as a special discounted bundle.